Adventure travel in Israel invites you to experience Israel beyond the bus. Each of these 5 adventures is readily available for visitors to the Holy Land. All you need is a willing spirit and an open heart. There are many ways to experience a country. For Shaul Ziv, formerly a high-ranked naval commander, the philosophy is to see the country with the mind and the body. In Israel, Shaul has pioneered this concept of challenge travel.
This philosophy of the way to show the country belong to people that they had a young head, not a young age, a young head. I think that if you can show the people the country and they take a part with them body, they made activities, they have a very good feeling and they remember every place better.
Shaul's land, sea, and air tours can last from 1 to 10 days and may include overnight hikes in the Judean desert, scuba diving in Eilat, rappelling at Sdom, or hang gliding near the Sea of Galilee. Wherever he goes, Shaul's emphasis is on the historical and cultural, as well as the physical. And the combination lets you experience Israel in a way you will never forget. Our 2-day adventure with Shaul began in the Judean desert just a short drive from Jerusalem, with hiking and rappelling at the 4th century monastery of Mar Saba.
In the 1st century, began here the monastic movement in this area. In the 1st century came a monk from Cappadocia. His name Sabas. Today, maybe 10 months living in this place, that's all.
Challenge travel are tours in which you do and see things which normally you wouldn't do and you wouldn't see them. Before they do rappelling or other things, diving and so on, they are a little bit nervous, they ask a lot of questions, they check all the things around and so on. And then when they're doing it, in the beginning they're stressed, and then slowly they get more and more comfortable, they become more and more comfortable and happy. During the tour, it's a beautiful process of a group of people getting to know each other and to know the nature around them and to know themselves better as they do all these adventures, all these things that they wouldn't believe maybe that they could do them.
You don't stick with your feet, you dangle, which I did a lot of, let me tell you.
It was very good for the first time. First time, ladies and gentlemen.
Our guides were delighted to try out their culinary tricks with the St. Peter's fish. And as it was Manu's 40th birthday, we all took a moment to wish him well. After dinner, Shaul led us on a walk through the flower caves, so called because of the soft, powdery nature of the rock. When we slept in the desert, our ceiling was a canopy of stars. Shaul likes to say that his hotel is better than any 5-star hotel in Israel. His hotel is a 10,000-star hotel. At daybreak, we hiked up to the edge of the hills overlooking the Dead Sea and watched the sunrise over the water. Though it wasn't yet 7 in the morning, we next hiked to Mount Sdom, where we descended more than 250 feet down a salt chimney into the heart of this spectacular salt dome. For most of us, it was one of the great thrills of our lives.
Good heavens, I normally take elevators.
Our last leg took us to the ancient fortress of Masada, where, as a final example of man's triumph over nature, Eitan undertook one of the great challenges to any hang glider, gliding off Masada.
I'm gonna fly for Masada. I hope to stay along in the air and to go up and see the Masada from above, if there will be a good wind and a good thermals. You just make 2 steps, good wind, and you're just up there, hanging alone, nobody, silence, wonderful. Sometimes when we fly, we need the nest of eagles, and they like to fly with us. When they see us, just came into the same thermals, and after they came into the same thermals, just they spin with us in the thermal, look at us, we look at them. Just, it's like a fight. Like a fight. The big ones go always in the same direction as we go, and it's wonderful to see it.
If I can do these activities and in this time to learn some things about the country and to see things and visit in more places, I think this mission, can be very good, and I'm not boring, and I do something with my body in the same time.
My name is Fran Alpert, and if my English is nice and clear, it's because it's from Chicago. This morning, you're going to take part in a great adventure. Dig for a Day in the city of Jerusalem is probably one of the few opportunities where people like yourselves, here in the Holy City for a short time, can touch the soil and feel what it was like to be in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.
What was it like to be in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago during the time of King Herod, the Maccabees, the Roman occupation? How did people live? What did they care about? Why should we care? Joining a one-day dig in the old city is one wonderful way to adventure travel through time, a journey many in our group were eager to make.
I want to feel history. I want to know where my ancestors came from, and I want to know more about it.
Archaeology to me is going back to my roots, tracing who I am.
I've never dug, so this opportunity was wonderful to get a chance to actually do hands-on, which I haven't done.
Hands-on experience is what Fran and Bernie Alpert specialize in at archaeological seminars. An adventure of the spirit, open to tourists of all ages.
We're going to dig in the Citadel, which is just a little bit west of where we're sitting now. And it's there that we'll be able to see how that giant fortress guarded the steps on which you are sitting now.
Our group, some of us experienced diggers, others out for the first time, will spend the better part of a day looking for broken pieces of pottery and old coins, the remnants and artifacts of civilizations long gone.
Welcome to the Citadel of David. This is more specifically the moat of the Citadel of David. 90% of this citadel, specifically this area, the moat, has been excavated by people like yourselves who come for a one-day experience. I think a lot of us, especially in the Western world, tend to look at the Bible, look at our ancient sources, and we say, it's a bunch of fairy tales, it's for kids, it's something that we don't relate to on an adult level. And I think when one comes to Israel, when one gets involved in archaeology, when you start picking up shards, pottery from the time of the Maccabees, when you're looking at a wall or excavating next to a wall from the time of the prophet Isaiah, you're taking that material and you're de-fairy taleizing it. You're looking at it and all of a sudden it's real. You're touching it. You're seeing where those different people that we read about once were. And you're part of it. In essence, we are uncovering our roots.
Sarah found a Mameluke coin.
Over here, you have some marks, and it's most likely from the Mameluke period, which is a period that is sometime around the Middle Ages.
Didi Kaufman is the Hebrew University archaeologist in charge of the Citadel dig site. She's impressed and delighted with the discoveries being made by the Dig for a Day groups, and so are her colleagues at the Citadel's museum.
And to our great surprise, we have been finding here finds that are a big surprise to all the archaeological world. Finds from 8th, 7th century BC. It's very different when you read a book about something and you see pictures of something than if you take a vessel and you pick it up and you feel it and you know that from this vessel people drank or people cooked their fish or the meat or whatever it might be, and they really feel as though they're part of the people.
It's incredible. Can't believe it. 2 pieces of pottery.
We dug up a room. We're not sure what it was, but it's good to know that, and maybe in a few years someone's going to figure out what it was, and you could say that you started to dig that room.
As a teacher, I can tell you that's the way you learn best, by being there, by touching it, by feeling it, by smelling it, by using all your senses, and that's exactly what you do when you're on a dig. You're using every one of your senses, and it's extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary.
It was different. It was very exciting. And I'm glad I came.
It was exciting. It's not something I'd do in Connecticut.
The reason I call the boat a fantasy is, well, it's spelled F-A-N-T-A-S-E-A, which is my concept of how a person can have a fantastic fantasy on the sea. And it's a culmination of 17 years' work in this area, beginning in the early days in Sharm. When you come with us, it's like living a fantasy in the Red Sea.
Our Red Sea adventure begins in the ancient port city of Eilat, the water sports capital of Israel. Our captain and guide, Howard Rosenstein.
Why here? First of all, I think here it probably is the best area in the world, accessible area in the world for practicing diving, scuba diving and snorkeling. The marine life, the clarity of water, the water temperature, all combined together to give the visitor here an experience in nature which it's almost unavailable anywhere else in the world today.
Howard and his wife Sharon are well known for their extended dive trips down the Sinai shore, to Egypt, to the pyramids, to Luxor. Today, he's coaching some new divers on a one-day excursion to Coral Island, a landmark destination since biblical times.
But you'll have a mouthpiece like this, which you put in your mouth, so. And all you do is you breathe normally as you do on the surface. want people to have a total experience. It's not just a floating hotel. This is an overall experience, living in the environment that you're visiting for the short period of time you're staying here. We have a full, really professional program of water sports, starting, of course, with the scuba diving, which is world famous and it's our specialty, but the snorkeling, which goes with it. We have windsurfing with instruction, water skiing, even deep sea fishing, and we eat the fish that we catch. The Red Sea is biologically the most intensive ecosystem in the world. There's more animal life on a Red Sea reef than on any place on planet Earth. Coral reef structures that you're looking at weren't created a month ago, or a year ago, or 1,000 years ago, but you're talking about continuous growth and development and life. And it's a system. It's a very delicate, well-balanced system.
We saw a little a lionfish, which his wings floating almost out of his body. And then I saw some beautiful purple fish with yellow tails. And at first there was one, and then there were two, and then there were three, and then they started playing. And the corals were beautiful. There was a wavy anemone coral. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I've never been to the moon, but
I like fish. There are a lot of colors like pink and yellow and green and blue.
As I jump in the water, and I feel like an intruder in the beginning. As I settle down into the depths, I feel like I'm in harmony with whatever's around me.
As the Fantasy approached Coral Island, Howard shared with us some of its fascinating history.
The Coral Island, or we call it Jizrat el Faroun in Arabic, or Pharaoh's Island, is a natural coral island which way back even in the time of King Solomon and before was used as a base, usually when they were bringing the goods from Africa, Ophir, and Sheba. So we know even from the Bronze Age period, which is earlier than that, a little earlier than that, up until through the Crusader period, the Roman times, this island was in use, and there's archaeological evidence of it to this day. The fortress you see is a later period. It's from the Byzantine period, somewhere like 800 or 900 years ago. Well, I think one of the nice things about dreams is you never know what's left with them, and you're just living them as they go on. Up until now, I feel very fortunate that I've been able to combine my love of the sea and my way of a livelihood by working with it, and I just hope it continues, that's all. The truth of the matter is, really, the bottom line is that there's really no words for it, and there's really no film for it, and all you have to do is come and experience it. That's the bottom line.
We ventured to the Galilee to play cowboy and to ride the territory with one of Israel's most gracious
I like
hosts.
to think of establishing what you might call the complete guest farm, which would be simple and just simply have the facilities that people want and need for a good, restful holiday. We try not to organize things for people, but we like to have things available so that people can use it. That means tennis court and a lounge and a library, games, swimming pool, and lots of little nooks where people can go out and walk around and enjoy nature.
Meet Yehuda Avni and his wife Yoni, founders of Israel's only dude ranch, Vered HaGalil, a friendly family resort with 10 cozy cottages and a reputation for serving some of the finest fried chicken and lemon pie this side of the Rio Grande.
We are here 25 years, and still every time when I drive from here to Tiberia, the view of the lake and the mountains around, I get every time breathtaking, as if I see it the first time. And that's, I think, what's special about Galilee.
We've got mountains, we've got valleys, we've got canyons. So you don't even have to think about history, but the history is there. And it's just there depending on how much you are ready to absorb.
And how much you're willing to ride. Avni can arrange trail tours for an hour, for a day, or for a week. His relaxed attitude made most of us feel right at home. But not everybody.
Now the route today is going to take us down to the Mount of Beatitudes, and then we're going down to Capernaum and to Tapcha and to Chorazin, and this is the northern area of the Sea of Galilee, which I think you'll all enjoy.
We certainly did enjoy our ride up this hillside overlooking the Sea of Galilee, revered as the probable site of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. After some quiet moments, we rode a few more miles to Capernaum, the center of Jesus' ministry in the Galilee. The Gospels tell of many miraculous healings that happened here. Peter, John, Matthew, Mark, they all grew up in the Galilee. Tabcha is next. Time to rest the horses and learn why this sacred site draws visitors from around the world. Avni is a born teacher. His deep understanding of the area's history and natural science makes the day's outing as exciting for the mind as it is for the body.
We're sitting in the courtyard of the first church that was probably ever built in the Galilee area. The area now is called Tapcha, which is a derivation from the Arabic of the word heptabagan, or something like that, which means the 7 springs, which they have in this area. Tapcha is especially important to Christians because it was here that Jesus performed the miracle of the fish and the loaves, in which he fed with just a few fish and a few loaves. He fed multitudes of people who were sitting on the mount just behind us. Tapcha is also noted for the wonderful mosaics that they have of various animals, flowers, the flora and fauna of the area.
Our adventure continues at the ancient village of Chorazim.
What we have right here in front of us is the bathhouse, and it's an interesting fact now that I think of it, because it means maybe that people who've come from a long, dusty trip and are tired, they first thing they want to do is just get into the bath, and maybe that's the reason it's right here at the beginning of the village. This is the synagogue of Chorazin. The synagogue was more than a synagogue. It was like a community center at that time. It was used as a hotel for guests. It was used as a study center. It was used as a banquet hall. It was used as a study hall by the rabbis. And there was lots and lots of activity. It just wasn't a building that was used only for ceremonial purposes.
Yehuda Avni, the former Edward Stone of Chicago, came to Israel to fight in the War of Independence, met Yoni, and never left. He's proud of his diverse country, and he loves to introduce new friends to old friends whenever he can.
The Bedouins are accustomed to a type of hospitality where people visit back and forth, And the people, guests are always welcome for coffee. They're welcome if they wish to spend the night. You can say no matter what people's interests are, we've got something that'll keep them satisfied. I know that I'll probably never finish doing all the things that have to be done. So what I do, and what I don't do, I won't do, and we'll let the kids do it. And in the meantime, I enjoy myself.
Travelers have been seeking refuge in the Judean desert for thousands of years. Here they lose themselves to find themselves in the beauty and silence of its timeless space.
I think people can learn from the silence mostly to listen to themselves and to listen to other people and to listen to the animals, to listen to the nature, to listen to the trees as even if it sounds crazy a little bit.
A stay at Mitzokei Dragot is one of several ways you can be in Israel and experience the Judean desert for yourself. This unique desert tour village, less than an hour's drive from Jerusalem, appeals to both families and singles. All you need is an open heart and the spirit of adventure. The expert guides will do the rest.
What we offer there, in addition to the rappelling, we also offer desert tours. We have a desert truck and a Jeep. We actually have 2 desert trucks and a third one on its way. And we offer walking hikes through the desert. We have driving tours, or we have tours where you walk and at night the truck comes and meets you and you camp out. You can be anywhere from a day tour or a half-day tour to a week-long tour where everything's supplied to you and you sleep out every night in the desert. People who come to the rappelling course, they are quite scared the first time because it's only natural to go over the edge of a cliff and say, you know, these ropes are going to hold me, you know, you're crazy. But after they get used to it and they realize that the ropes are going to hold them, then they can start loosening up and enjoying themselves.
You can see the people before they do the things, while they're doing it, and after that. And then at the end, it's like a volcano. It's like, you know, really being happy that I could do it also.
Kagit and Aryeh know that the key to unlocking the mysteries of the desert is your participation, going from the passive to the passionate.
But it's being a part of the land. It's doing things in the landscape. It's doing adventures. It's being a part of this land.
We have lots of American groups that come here for all our programs, actually. What they get is they get an experience that they've never gotten in the States. And you come from the noise of the city, the rat race, and you come out to the desert where you can wander around for days and not see anyone except yourself.
Well, I feel something here in the desert. I can't explain it so well, but we feel something special. Even my daughters, they like it here.
So the atmosphere is very graceful, something very royal about it.
The guides at Mitzokei Dragot care deeply about the environment and encourage an appreciation of the natural forces at work here.
We can see the main difference between the 2 major views of the Judean desert. One of them behind you right now is the area with the soft rocks, what we call limestone, or to be exact, chalk. The second view is what we can see right under us, and this is the canyons. The walls of the canyons are made of limestone and dolomite.
You can hardly take 2 steps in the Judean desert without feeling its history, too.
During the Byzantine period, meaning the 5th century, a few monks settled here inside the caves. Now they built this monastery, as you can see, inside the caves. Now we are inside the church right now of the monastery,
and the floor, all around the floor was covered with mosaic. You can see some of it right here.
You see, when we are talking about the history of Israel, and the history is in the desert. The history is Jerusalem, in the desert, in the mountains. You see, the desert is a very small desert, this is the Judite desert. And everyone who wanted to, even David, when he escaped from Saul, King Saul, he escaped to the desert because it was very close to Jerusalem, to the place where the people lived. We saw the Bedouin, the Arabs there. They're living exactly like Abraham lived here. It's like going back in time. When I go back to the cities, I feel more connected to this country, to this, how I say it, to my history, to my roots. And in the desert, it's the best place to find the roots.
I always loved the desert. You sit on a sandy hill, you can't see anything and can't hear anything, and nevertheless, something mysterious is shining brightly in the silence. And then when you go back, it's not only that you have this film or pictures of the land, but you have a part of Israel in your heart because you've done these special things here.